age group. And last week, there were 21 cases, which is 25% fewer than the week prior. However, still over the 5-year average. Next slide, please. Moving on to COVID-19, we see that Pima County had 31,645 cases of COVID in 2023. In 2024, we have had only 4,988, which is 88% fewer than usual. People in the 19 to 44-year age bracket are the most affected, with 50% of all cases occurring in this age group. And this is followed by children who are aged 5 to 18 being the second most affected age group. Last week, there were 145 cases, which is 32% less than the week prior. And we can see that since the beginning of the year, we've been very, very significantly underneath the 3-year average for our COVID-19 cases. Next slide, please. Finally, we have our influenza seasonal report. In the current flu season, we have 4,271 confirmed cases, which is a little more than double the normal amount. We actually just went under the 5-year average for essentially the first time all year, which is pretty great to see. And once again, people in the 19 to 49-year age group are the most affected by flu, with 32% of all flu cases occurring here, followed by children aged 5 to 18. Last week, there were 30 confirmed cases, which is 46% fewer than the week prior. And next slide. This is our aggregate respiratory disease. As you can see, we're starting to move out of the respiratory season with the big peaks that we saw from mostly COVID and flu occurring around week 52 and then dropping off pretty significantly leading up to now, which is really good to see. And then just a reminder for communicable disease reporting, you can see a reporting summary for schools at the link that's provided in the PowerPoint right there. And it has some information on who needs to report, what's reportable, when, and how to report. The forms, the CDR, the Communicable Disease Reporting Form, and the Outbreak Report Form are both included. And then on the right, there's a brief summary for the communicable diseases that are that need to be reported, as well as a summary on the bottom that shows the time period at which you need to report them by. So any disease that has that little black telephone next to it needs to be reported within 24 hours after detecting a suspect case or a confirmed case. The little envelope needs a report within 5 working days after detecting a case or a suspect case. And the white circle needs a report within 24 hours after detecting an outbreak. And I believe that is all for me. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't see any questions, and I just realized for some reason the slides that Gretchen put on are not up, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and so I can go ahead and share Gretchen's as well. Apologize for that.
No worries, Chris. I know it was a lot to put together, but I appreciate your time.
Let me see. There we go. If you're ready, Gretchen, you can go ahead. Oh.
Perfect. There we go. Hi, my name is Gretchen. I am an enteric epidemiologist with Pima County Health Department. So I do I work with a lot of different illnesses that could cause diarrhea, vomiting, a lot of things like that. And one of the big ones that we see, especially in, as you know, in schools and in congregate facilities, is called norovirus. It's often what people refer to as stomach flu. And it's a pretty common virus. You don't need a whole lot of it, kind of a dose or a intake of it to get sick. It spreads really easily. It happens when someone might be a food handler or touch a surface, vomit, use the restroom, and that doesn't get cleaned up, and then someone else touches that and gets infected. So you can see a diagram here of ways that folks can get and transmit norovirus. I know y'all have probably seen this before if you've been in presentations we've done, but we try to do it every year around this time because summer is And late spring is a big time when we see more outbreaks come up. It's just something that goes around, just a normal thing that we see more when it's warmer temperatures and folks are out and about more. So folks can get it by providing care for someone, changing diapers, and then maybe touching their mouth, or shaking hands, touching a contaminated surface like a desk, a doorknob, anything like that. And an important thing to note here is that a lot of hand sanitizers that folks might have around, which is awesome to have, a lot of them are not aren't certified to kill norovirus, so you could be using that and still get sick from this. So it is really important. We like to stress washing hands a lot. I know that especially with kiddos, you try to do this a ton, but even for yourselves, for anyone around, especially if there's food involved. But we know that kids and people in general touch their faces a lot, so trying to be really diligent with that. 61% of outbreaks of diarrhea or vomiting in general are caused by having direct contact, so shaking hands, anything like that, with an infected person or touching a surface that's been contaminated and then touching your mouth. You can go to the next slide. And I apologize. In the previous slide we had, and I believe these will be available as well and recorded, but there's a QR code that can take you to a page that lists all of the things that the EPA has approved as products that can kill norovirus. It's really great to compare that list to the list of cleaner or cleaning agents that your janitorial staff might use before you have an outbreak even. That's a thing that we check when you have an outbreak, but it's really great to take a look at that, make sure that you're already doing prevention. If someone gets sick, vomit, diarrhea, fecal accident, you clean that up and you're able to keep anything from spreading there. So this is a kind of a detailed list of what we ask for when folks might report they have a few cases of vomiting and diarrhea. That's kind of what we start out with. We assume sometimes it's norovirus, but we also, it could be something else, but it's just fairly common that it is, and we like to be on top of it just in case it is. And so this will be available as well, but me and my team, we will send you a list. We'll get your email address if you call or fax or email us, and we'll send you this list in a format where you can fill it in and get back to us information that we need. We'll ask you some of these questions and make sure that you are having folks, staff or students who are having symptoms like this stay out, even if it's not a confirmed norovirus, any vomiting, diarrhea, we want them to stay out for 2 days until they're 2 days symptom free. So if they're sick on a Monday and then they're not sick on Tuesday or Wednesday, that's perfect. They can go back Thursday. For anyone who handles food, prepares food for anyone else who serves it, that would be 72 hours instead. And again, we stress hand washing, an increase in cleaning of high-touch surfaces using those good cleaning agents, and then wearing PPE and using disposable mop heads for anyone cleaning up any kind of vomit or fecal accidents. And this is my last slide, but I want to stress again, I know Jake shared a slide with information about how to contact us on the EPI team. I can go over that phone number again, but it's right there. This is preferred way to reach us. Email is good as well. Email is probably the quickest, but if we're getting a lot of calls, phone might be a little slower. And you will reach all of us. It'll be redirected to whoever it's kind of in their area and can take the call. But we really want to empower you and your teams. I know it can be an overwhelming time, especially if you're getting multiple cases of different things, respiratory, GI. So we want to let you know that we're a resource for you, and we're happy to help, even if it's just a question, or you're like, oh, it's a higher number than normal of vomiting or diarrhea in our school right now. You can just check in, give you some resources. Hopefully nothing goes from there. But that's all I have for you. I'm happy to answer questions as well, or pass it off to Crystal.
Okay. I don't see any questions. As of course, if you have any questions that pop up, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll also have time at the end. We can go ahead and move forward. Crystal, are you on the call?
Yes, thank you, Christopher. Hi, everybody. My name is Crystal Rambo. I'm the Immunization Program Manager with the Pima County Health Department. Next slide. I just wanted to take a moment to recognize Adolescent Immunization Action Week and just discuss that a bit. This Action Week was launched to bring attention to the importance of adolescent immunization and to urge healthcare providers and parents to get adolescents up to date on recommended vaccines. So this is led by an agency called the Unity Consortium, which brings together a lot of different disciplines and a lot of different organizations to try to achieve the goal of increasing adolescent immunizations. So this is a chance for just awareness and encouraging adolescents to be vaccinated. Next slide. So this is an infographic that they developed to just have an overview of the vaccine recommendations for adolescents. So 11 to 12 years, they've got their HPV recommendations. A lot of providers, including the Pima County Health Department, are routinely beginning HPV series at age 9. But if you have a child that comes in at age 11 and they haven't started, we're certainly happy to continue or initiate that series. They get their first dose of the meningococcal vaccine that covers A, C, W, and Y, booster Tdap, and then if they're due for their flu or COVID, you would get that then as well. And then 13 to 15, that's more of a catch-up stage, not a lot of extra vaccines during that time frame, so flu and COVID as needed. And then at age 16, they would be getting a booster on that meningitis that they got at age 11, so a second and final dose of that. And they would also start and finalize their meningitis B series, which covers another strain of meningitis that's not covered in the ACWY. And then they would continue with their annual flus or COVID as needed. And then 17 to 18, again, that's also nothing really extra there, just continuing those annual recommendations. And it's also time to really look at whether there's anything that's been missed in their childhood set and making sure that they're really ready to go on to college, where people often live in congregate housing settings, and we need to make sure that they are as immunized as they can possibly be. So this is really an age where we try to help adolescents understand and to learn that immunizations are a lifetime health intervention. I think a lot of times people feel that vaccines are really relegated to very young children and older people, and that people who are in their teens or in their young adulthood don't really need immunizations. And that's really not the case. It's something that really does happen across a lifetime and on a routine basis. So adolescence is a good time to really help bring that message home for a lot of our teens. And then just as another reminder, we do at the Pima County Health Department have all of these vaccines readily available, including for kids who are uninsured at no cost. So if you have kids that need these vaccinations, we're happy to see them either with an appointment or on a walk-in basis. Next slide. So the Unity Consortium does have some other resources I just wanted to call your attention to. They have downloadable newsletters that are modifiable for your needs, posters, YouTube videos, and flyers for Adolescent Immunization Action Week. They also have some other initiatives that this is not their only one, so they have other content pertaining to those initiatives as well. And then they have educational webinars for really anybody who wants to increase adolescent immunizations. Next slide. So that is it for me. If there's any other immunization related questions, I'm certainly happy to take them here, but you can also reach out to me either by phone or email. So any questions?
Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. And I do want to open up the floor for any questions, either for Crystal or for Jake or for Gretchen. Like I said, today was a very short meeting, just because, we're wrapping up for the school year. And seeing none, I will still be on the call for another 3 to 5 minutes if anyone does have any questions. But if not, I think we can end the call really early, and I can give y'all back 40 minutes of your day. Oh, we do have a question from Julie. Do we have any unexpired COVID test kits? Yes, Julie. I can go ahead and coordinate with you outside of this to get you those COVID tests. We can send you the link to request that. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up now. I went ahead and put that in the chat to request that kit. Or kits, I should say. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see you in May. Is there a new list for the current expired COVID tests? I can get back to you on that. Let me go ahead and I will reach out to the folks over in the division that works with the COVID test and get back to you with that question, with the answer.